Good morning. The purpose of this video is to talk about the Buddhist concept known as the oneness of body and mind. As you can see in the poster next to me, I have written two statements, one outlined in red, the other outlined in green. First, I will talk about the red statement, and then I will talk about the green statement. The red statement says, one's physical aspect or body affects one's spiritual aspect or mind, or shortcut version of that would be the body affects the mind. And the simple explanation for that, you might say, well, that's, no big surprise. I think we all understand that if we are low on sleep, if our bodies are coming down with some kind of cold or something like that, it affects our mind in that we won't be able to perform mentally as well as we would be able to do if we had had a really good night's sleep. Like, for example, I won't be able to do as good a job on this video right now because I didn't sleep very well last night. I'm very tired. But that's beside the point. I digress. A much deeper level explanation for this, I think, would be if we look at this idea, this concept of the body affecting the mind, would be looking at it on a much more long-term basis. Like, for example, the course of one's life. And the reason that this is important in the modern day world, I think, is because if the implications that it has for our ability to function mentally later on in life, or just at really most any time in life. For example, if we have a poor diet, if we don't exercise enough, we fail to control stress in our lives, and all of the things that we hear so much about nowadays, this over a period of time will most definitely have an effect on one's mental abilities. This principle has been taught in the philosophy of Buddhism for thousands of years, but in modern day times it's not so much a big news, as you might say, because in the modern day times we have become so much more health conscious, and the sciences of biology and psychology have taught these principles about the connection between the body and the mind. And I think it's important to point out as well that the opposite of what I was just saying is also true. If a person tries to just practice good habits for a lifetime, such as eating a healthy diet, exercising, and I think it's very important to also control stress in one's life and to just have a general healthy lifestyle. This, over the course of time, and I think the way that it has such a positive effect on the mind is that this healthy habits prolongs aging, I think, and it enables the mind to, let's say, live longer in a healthier way. Now, the green statement, one's spiritual aspect or mind affects one's physical aspect or body. A shortcut version again, the mind affects the body. And I think this one is something it's a little more difficult for the general population to grasp, because we're just not accustomed in Western culture, the Western world, about thinking in terms of mind over matter. In the Buddhist philosophy, it's a very important, a very famous quote from Buddhist philosophy is, thoughts become things. And this concept of mind over matter is basically, it's that same idea, and especially when it comes to one's body. And I think, again, that the reverse of, if you have a healthy body, you can maintain a healthy mind. But it's also true that we can use our minds to heal our bodies. And I think it's especially important the kinds of thoughts that we generate and try to maintain over a long period of time. Say, the course of a lifetime, maybe not the whole lifetime, but just like, for example, if a person is always just kind of, I don't know, allowing themselves to be in a low mental state, like being depressed or being angry or being just dwelling in the lower worlds that have negative effects on, it can have negative effects on our bodies. So we can actually make ourselves sick, and over the period of a long, course of a lifetime, when we reach their old age, we can actually cause ourselves to have cancer and other various types of illnesses that could generate from the fact of having this negative mindset for so long. And then, of course, the opposite of that would be true as well. If we try to always maintain a positive mindset and do whatever we can to just be happy and not dwell in the world of anger or negativity all the time, that this will enable us, our mind will help to enable our bodies to stay younger longer and to not age as quickly and to not get sick as often or as early as we might otherwise. And I would like just very quickly to talk about, to give an example, I guess, of I think one of the most famous stories of a person using their mind to heal their body. And a lot of you may have heard of Morris Goodman. He's called the Miracle Man. And if you look him up on the internet, you'll find his story, and I won't tell the whole story, but in a nutshell, he was a man who was very much into that book, Think and Grow Rich, and he started out just, very poor, I guess, just an average person, but he used the philosophy behind Think and Grow Rich, in other words, using your mind to make things materialize in your life. And he became very wealthy. He was able to buy a plane, and one day he was out flying his plane, and he had a plane accident, and he ended up being paralyzed entirely. He was totally paralyzed. He could not breathe on his own. He couldn't talk. He couldn't even swallow. And he was lying in the hospital, and he could hear, what was going on around him, and the only way that he could communicate with anyone around him was through blinking his eyes. But he made the determination while he was lying in that bed that he was not going to be defeated by this. He was going to use what he knew, the power of the mind, to heal his body. And he made the determination that he was going to walk on his own power out of that hospital before Christmas. And this was like in the spring, like March or sometime like that. And he went through, I won't go through all the details, but he actually sat there and used his mind to heal. You know, I think first was he had to breathe on his own, and then eventually he was able to swallow and so forth and so on, and then it went even further into getting out of the bed and learning how to walk. And he did all of this solely through the power of using his mind to heal his body. And I think this is just the best example I know of this principle of the inseparability of mind and body, or the oneness of mind and body, and the power of the mind to heal or to influence in a negative way the body. Thank you for listening.